Hey, I'm CD. I'm an author and a writer. Most people know me from either my writing or my online stuff that I do. My website personally is Indignified. These are a few of the books that I've written out of many, but I'm also a developer and I'm someone who wants to solve the problems of the world through using technology. So I've worked a lot with blockchain and with different platforms, and I got really tired of the way that things work and don't work. Cory Doctorow is kind of a famous guy, and he said in shitification, it's where platforms are really good, they start out really good, and then they give us everything that they want, but eventually they take it all away, and then we're left with shit. That's in shitification. So Indignified Labs is where I sort of play around with those different ideas that I come up with. And this is just something I put together. It's just a quick put together of some of the projects that I'm working on. But really, I'm here to show you something special today. But to start, I want to just look at the world's biggest social network where, like 2/3 of the planet has an account on Facebook. And why did we get accounts on Facebook? We got accounts on Facebook so that we could keep up with family and friends, so we could communicate with our friends, so we could build our networks bigger through family and friends, and also, just so we could share our lives simply and let people know about us. So let's look at Facebook really quick. Okay, so we log into Facebook here, and what do we see? Let's see, that's my cousin. These are some people that I know and care about, so I've got stories from them at the top. But then I've got, let's see, a place, which is okay, a guide to Iceland, which I didn't ask for, it's sponsored. People I may know. No, I don't think I know those people. Project from there's someone that I know, finally. They're sharing something kind of funny, but that's not like a personal update. That's just something she found funny and wanted to share, and so on and so forth. And essentially, I logged at one time out of 10 things that showed up in my feed, one of them was actually a thing from a friend and family. And that was a couple years ago. And now I think it's more, I think the algorithm is more putting products and other pages that it thinks I'll like, things from their advertisers. And it is basically giving me stuff to keep me clicking and on the site, but not what I'm here for, which is friends and family. So I got a little frustrated with all that. There was one network that I felt did it really good, and that network had the plug pulled on it by Google. It was Google Plus years and years ago. I really liked their idea of circles, of being able to build trust levels with different friends, and like that all your family and friends aren't necessarily in one circle. There's like one circle that has your work friends, and then another circle. There might be some overlap, but you don't want to share all the same things with all the same people. So I decided to build Scroll. Now, see that? See that right there? XCROL. That's pronounced scroll, just like that. So just like xylophone, scroll. Like there's a little less z than xylophone, but you get it. So this is Scroll. Take control of your own networks, build your own world, use your powers. Now, the idea here is I'm just going to walk you through because, first of all, people have been calling it Xcroll or Xcrawl. It's not, it's Scroll. And second, I just want to show you how easy it is and how some of these functions and ideas that have come to me through the years really work in Scroll. Now, it's kind of a big thing to try to build a social network. And so far, I've managed to get about 50 people to come and sign up and create accounts. The harder part is getting them to also invite their friends, invite the people that they care about. So I'm making this video to kind of introduce why that's important and to show the things that you can do when you actually do that, because I'm not building this for me per se. Like, I'm building it so that I can use it, yes, because it's the network that I want, but I'm building it for my friends and for my family and for the people that I don't even know yet who might someday be in my network, or people I never meet who have the same frustrations. One of my favorite philosophers and writers in the world was R. Buckminster Fuller, and he basically said he failed at everything in life until he realized that if he wasn't doing something that was good for everyone, he shouldn't be doing it. I think Scroll is good for everyone. Now I'm going to show you why. Okay, so the sign-in process is really easy. If you have not signed up for it yet, you can create an account very easily. You select your username, what you want to be called, use your favorite email, and if you have an invite code from somebody else, check out our terms and conditions, our privacy policy. With Scroll, I've put a lot of privacy first factors into it. Now, a few things. I'm not going to use algorithms to sort the feed on Scroll ever, or to sort anything on Scroll. And I'm also not going to put ads in the feed or in your platform at all. So it's not going to be algorithmically fed. It's not going to be ad fed. And also, the other important thing is you own your data. So at any time, you can take your stuff that you put on Scroll and leave, and no problem. So privacy first is very, very important. And I've put as many privacy things into it as I can. But read the terms and conditions, read the privacy policy, make sure. And also, if you have any questions, I'm very accessible. You'll be able to ask me and we can clarify anything or fix things if it's not privacy centric enough. So logging in, we had a problem early on where people would log in and then it would send the confirmation email, which sometimes goes to the spam box. Shouldn't, but it does. It's from me. Yeah, but it shouldn't go to your spam box. But if it does and you can't find it, you can always just forgot your password, get another confirmation email, and then you log in. So the first thing, Scroll is more fun with friends. This is true. It's built for your network. It's not built for my network. It's built for you to have a network and for me to be able to expand my network, maybe with members of your network. And likewise, you can expand your network with members of mine. We'll talk about that in a second. So you can invite friends, and yeah, we can do that later. This is the main point, okay? Your powers await. Now, you should be empowered with your social network. So you hold the power to shape your networks and to build your world. What will you create? First of all, let's look at you. That's the first thing you have to create, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a look into what I'm doing with this and the ways that I've done it. You'll get to see a little bit of the back end from my perspective, but that's okay. This is my profile. Okay, you can upload an avatar, you can adjust your username, your name. I'm also going to set it up where you can change your hometown if you want to, because sometimes people move or they change their idea of their hometown. You can make a short about me, and you can put your favorite one link, just one link, make one link that leads to where you want people to see your stuff or you want people to associate with you. Your birthday. Now, one problem that I've run into is a lot of times people don't want platforms to know how old, you got to know you're 18 or whatever, or 20 to use a certain platform, 16, 14, whatever. But you may not want to share that information with the entire world. So we've set it up where you can set up these different trust levels where birthday, month, and day can go to nobody, close friends, buddies, or acquaintances. Okay. And then birthday year can go again to nobody, close friends, buddies, or acquaintances. And these are all trust levels that you can set up just a little bit further down the page. Now, another one of these trust levels that isn't there right now is family, and family automatically has access to your birthday and birth year. So you might want to share that, my birthday is December 27th, but I may not want everybody to know 1971. That's fine. You can designate who gets to see that. Your nickname, you can put your address, you can put your mailing address. And again, these are all things that you can decide which level of trust you want to give to people. Okay, so close friends, you can see all my phone numbers here. I mean, I'm basically giving you access to me automatically with everything, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal because, I can always change it if it becomes a problem. But things like WeChat and Facebook, RedNote, you may not want those to go to everybody. Maybe you have an OnlyFans and that's only for your super close friends or for secret friends, which we'll get to in a second. Okay, so close friends, you can decide what you want to do. If you want to add something that we haven't selected, you can choose the platform and you can add your own as well. So if it's other and you want to put something else, you can do that. They get access to these things automatically, and you can add other things that you want them to have access to. Buddies, a little bit different designation. Friendly acquaintances, these are people that, maybe you want them to have your general information, but you don't want them to have your personal email, don't want them to have your phone number, so maybe you just give them some general information like that. Then we get to secret friends. Secret friends are exactly the same as close friends, but they're your hidden inner circle. So let's say you have a mistress and you want to share all your stuff with her, but you don't want your wife to see that. That's a terrible example, but it does happen, right? Or you're friends with someone that you don't want people to know that you're friends with for whatever reason. That's your secret friend. They don't show up in your public friends list. They get all of the same access as your close friends and your inner circle, but they don't show up when you see the list of, hey, is CD friends with, you know, Barack Obama, and maybe for whatever reason me and Barack don't want people to know that we're friends, so I hide that. Secret enemies is another innovation that I thought needed to happen. I want to give my friend Ed a shout out for basically saying, like, you could call that secret enemies when I had the concept, but a secret enemy is someone that you don't want them to know that you're kind of ghosting them. So they like giving you a friend request and you go, okay, yeah, you can be my friend, but then you can give them either fake or real substandard information about your profile. So maybe what you're giving them is a number that they call. It says, hey, this is a recording, you suck. It could be that. So secret enemies is that. And again, they don't really get any real access, only what you give them. And you can give them decoy information if you want to. So that is really simple to set up. Like, you can subtract these things, you can add these things, and then you just press save at the bottom, and that is set up. Then I also included a custom friendship type. So I host a lot of couch surfers. I meet a lot of friends who are traveling, and so I've just called this general couch surfers. And there's things that I want to give those people access to, but I may not want to give them all of my information because really I don't know them yet. They're not close friends yet. So you can create this custom thing. I made it couch surfers. You might make it work friends. You might make it, softball league or something else, but you can create this custom category that you decide exactly what you want to share with that category, and you leave it at that. Now, speaking of couch surfing, this is the next thing. I feel like real world connections are where social networks online have failed in a big way. So by setting up ways for people to connect in the real world, we've actually created something where online friendships can become real world friendships, which are much, much more satisfying than having just online friendships. Now, there's a lot of people who are great friends of mine that I've only met online, never encountered in the real world. But the truth is, when I've encountered great friends that I've made online in the real world, the transition is usually pretty instant, and we become instant great friends. So, and there's a lot more fulfillment in that process. So if you have online friends and you can meet them and become real world friends with them, I really encourage that behavior. So meetups are basically exactly what you say. You can set up a thing like I've set up something that says friendly acquaintances and above. So anybody that I meet basically from that level or above can see a notification on the map that we'll look at in a second that says, hey, I'm willing to meet up for coffee or drinks or take a walk with you. If you come to the town that I visit, I live in Otaru, then we can become friends that way. We can have a walk, get a cup of coffee, go out, have a drink, maybe get a meal, share some tourist things with you. Very happy to do that. I encourage everyone to do the same. Hosting preferences. This is Couchsurfing centric. So Couchsurfing has started charging for this service, and there's some ways that I haven't really been satisfied with the way that Couchsurfing has been run or set up in the past 10 years or so. It was really great in the early 2000s and running up until about 2012, So I think Airbnb sort of ruined that a little bit. But hosting preferences essentially says when someone looks at the map and they see that, hey, my friend of a friend or this person that I've met can see that when I look at this town that I'm going to, there's someone there. I could either meet up with them or maybe I could even stay with them and have a free place to stay, a local guide, somebody who knows all of the cool things to do in that place. So that's what I've done. Like if you're coming to Otaru, you can, and we're friendly acquaintances at the minimum, you can then say, hey, I'd like to stay in your extra bedroom while I'm there for a couple of days. And likely if I'm here and I don't have someone already staying there, I will say, okay, that's no problem. Now, the other thing that's really cool is I love how LinkedIn has degrees of separation, but LinkedIn is more like business, but I wanted this also for Couchsurfing. So it makes more sense to host people that know people that you know. Right? So it's rather than just hosting strangers. If my friend Dave has a friend Sam and his friend Ingrid is coming to visit Otaru, she can request an introduction through her friend Sam to Dave and then through my friend Dave to me. And that way we can have like that friendly acquaintance and above accommodation. It takes a little work, right? But it takes work to make friends. And also you want to have trust factors built in. Now, another thing that is on this. We'll see when we look at my public profile in a second, is references. References are really important to this whole system because references tell people that know you what they think about you, or it's people that know you saying what they think about you. So people who have stayed with you as a host or a guest, or people who have met up with you at meetups, or your friends might leave you references. And then you have friends. Okay, so here I have 18 friends on the platform right now. Now the thing is, I think most people have sort of like signed up, which I'm very grateful for, but that's sort of as far as they went. A lot of people didn't bother setting up their account. They were just like, okay, I'll sign up. People get bored, they get distracted. I understand that. So that's the reason why I'm making this video. So these 18 people have all set up their profiles enough to where they were able to accept the friend request that I sent them. And, we've created friendships in that way. And all of these other 24 people here, my secret enemies, these are both accounts that I made, by the way. So secret accounts, secret enemies, I wanted to try out the functionality, and they can only see fake information that I've put out there. And then here are requests that I've sent out to be friends with another 24 people. And these people have not really pushed further into like building out their profile or exploring what it can do. And again, I'm hoping that they will take a few minutes and watch this to see. And then we get into the references. So references here, you've got references that are from hosts, right? So people who've hosted you, references from guests, references from friends, business references. Okay, so, and then mini games is something that I've mostly phased out. There's a couple of little mini games that I've left on here, which we can come back to in a second. And I haven't blocked any users because I'm trying to get people to use this platform. So blocking people, so far we haven't had a problem with lots of strangers signing up. That's a problem I'd like to have. So that's the edit version of my profile. But if you actually look at my profile page, what you see is this. Okay, so there's that. Now my scroll. Okay, my scroll is basically like my daily diary. I choose who gets to see it and what I'm sharing with people. But we'll talk about the scroll in a second. Meetups and hosting. I'm open to meetups, open to hosting, references from people, my friends, and really you shouldn't see all of these like sent requests, but I think that's only when I'm looking at my own profile that I see that. It's not everyone would see that. All right, I know it's a lot, so hopefully you're still with me. So we go back to the powers page is where we want to go. Okay, so that was you. That's the profile. Then there's the forest, which we've talked about a little bit. The forest is your friends. You're a solitary tree. The forest is all of your friends. So this is where you can see requests, pending requests. You can request introductions to people that are already on the platform. So there's a lot that goes on in the forest, right? That's where we communicate with each other. Then we have the world. Let's do the world next. The world is with the couch surfing thing that I talked about so much. So this is a global map. I encourage every person when they sign up to put their hometown and something about why they love their hometown on the map. So ultimately, long term, this is going to be a really important feature because let's say that you're going to Bellingham, Washington, and you're like, hey, I'm going to go to Bellingham and I want to, find somebody to stay with up in Bellingham, Washington. So you click on this and you see, oh, wait, there's two people there. And you've got one person in Bellingham. So she writes about Bellingham. She says, okay, yeah, this is a thing. So then you could find this person. You could request an introduction to her from someone who might know them. And then you could request to either meet up for a coffee or to, stay on their couch or in their extra bedroom or rent their like little place in the backyard. All of that is an option. Okay. Now, the other thing is the meetups and events. Okay, so the map is a little bit laggy right now. This is a demo day problem, right? Okay, so if you come over here to Otaru in Japan, you'll see that this circle is yellow. And when it's yellow, it just indicates that there is a meetup or event in there. So we've got two people, Nigel and myself, and also this one event, which when you go to meetups and events, you'll see all of the active meetups and events that are available. And again, this is going to get refined a little bit as more people start using it. It'll have to be. Now, this is sort of a personal mission of mine to build this, and this thing, I hope it can bring you as much satisfaction and joy as couch surfing and meetups and making friends traveling has brought to me. So here's a list of all the hometowns that are on the map. You can look at the hometown and you can see it on the map, and you can see who lists that as their hometown, just in case you're looking for someone to hang out with and become friends with. And then a personal project here is a person from every country in the world. This is something that I tried to do on Google+. I think I was the first person to do it there. And the idea is that we get one person from every country in the world as sort of a representative of that country here on Scroll. And we can do something with that when it happens, like maybe a United Nations of our own, like a little thing like that. There's a million things that we could do. So far, we've got 11 countries represented. Not bad for a humble acorn beginning, but we'll do better as time goes on. So again, that is the world, okay? And you can reach the world here, or you can reach the world from going back to home to that page, okay? So very important to fill out your hometown. The next thing that we're going to talk about, this is maybe the most important feature here, but it's at least connected with the most important, and that is the river. So the river, every scroller, every person who has a Scroll account is allowed to do one 240 character entry per day on the Scroll. And that's this feed. So look at this as opposed to Facebook that we looked at the beginning. You know, you've got one update per day from the people that matter that you just want to keep in touch with. Okay, and obviously I'm the power user here because I want to set a good example that I'm using it every day. But, you know, you can see that I'm actually able to keep up with my friends a little bit through this. And when they post something, then you can leave a reaction. So I'll do this just with my own. Okay, so yeah, that's fire reaction. I love that. And you can also respond to other people. So when you respond, that takes us to the messaging and the friends. So again, just to look at, and I'll look at my friend, let's look at Mark Findletter's profile. Okay, and when we go to his profile, you can see that there's a few things. I can share his profile, I can message him, I can go down here and I can leave a reference for him. And I can also see his most 3 recent updates. I can see if he's open to meetings. I can see, you know, his friends, not the secret friends, but the real friends. So all of that is there. I could even block him if I wanted to, and I don't because Mark's great. So that is the river. And the river is represented by these 3 lines right here, okay? The river is the river of scrolls, essentially. So not river of souls, the river of scrolls. And so every day, let's say you have 100 friends, and you see 100 of these little things. In 5 minutes, you could scroll through and catch up with what 100 friends are doing, you know, the weddings, the anniversaries, the birthdays, the whatever it might be. But it's 240 characters with an optional link that they can put in to something if they want to share something enough that that's their one link per day that they want their friends to see. So 240 characters, one link, no photos, no videos. Now, one of the things about Scroll that's really important is I don't want to get rid of all the other networks. I don't want to do all the functions of the other networks. I don't want to become YouTube or Instagram or Facebook groups. What I want is I want people to just be able to stay in touch with each other. So what you'll see is, okay, so let's use this. If I respond to Mark's message, okay, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's so cool. I'm so glad to hear that. I can also select another platform that we might want to connect on. So let's connect on Instagram because we're both active on there. Let's have a phone call. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's email with each other. Let's connect on WhatsApp. And this is just a short message to open that conversation. But, you know, Instagram is great for sharing photos. YouTube is great for sharing videos. And I don't want those things to. So what we're trying to do is let them do what's important to them, but at the same time, give us a chance to have what's important to us, our friends, our family, our relationships. Okay, so that's the river. Now to access your scroll, pretty easy. You can write your scroll. You can go there, or you can come over here and go to My Scroll. And when you go to My Scroll or write your scroll, it takes you to the same place, My Scroll. And that's where you can do it. So you can put that link, you can decide who you want to share that with, and you can also put what you're putting in there. Now that brings us to the next thing, which is Brooks. Okay, so a brook is like a smaller river, right? So let's go back to the home page and we will look at brooks. So maybe you have a best friend that you just like are busy lives and you just want to keep in touch with. Maybe you have a kid that you want to keep in touch with, that you just want to set up a way where you can like touch bases with each other and keep that communication going. That's what the brook is for. So each user gets 5 brooks. And what a brook is it's just a river essentially between two people. It's private, it's encrypted, and what you can do is you can set up a brook. You can decide if there's any inactivity for 3 days, then we can gently sort of retire this because it's not working, or 7 days or 9 days. You can invite someone who's already on Scroll, or you can invite someone by email. So if they're not on Scroll yet, a brook is a way to have a 2-person conversation with someone that is important to you and to just keep it going so that you're sharing those moments of life, almost like passing by each other on the way to work, or meeting up with a coworker at the water cooler, or, just giving a quick text between your mom and you. So that's what the brooks are. And then we'll go back and we'll look at one more thing. And actually, we'll look at 2 more things. So the strata, this is just all of the stuff that is in the back end. So you get to set your data and privacy controls. You decide all of this stuff, okay? What you want to share, what you don't want to share. You decide the notifications that you want. You decide how much privacy to enact. You can change your password. You can block users, and you can connect Scroll to other apps. Every user can do this. If you're developing something, you can connect it to Scroll. And that's what we're going to get into next. That's a part of the strata. And I'm really excited about all of that. I wanted to keep this to under 30 minutes just so people could see. That's how you set up your profile. That's how you use Scroll. That's how you say Scroll. And this is what we have so far. And if you have any questions, this Getting Started FAQ right here goes into all of the details. It talks about how to set up your profile, what to choose, what the friendship levels and layers mean, controlling who sees what. It talks about how to use your Scroll, how to use the river and like keep up with your friends' updates, how to use the brook, the private 2-person system, and why that's important, because it is really important, why your hometown is important, how to do meetups and hosting, why references and trust matter, messaging and introductions, how to set up, log in with Scroll, and use Scroll as your personal portable identity. That's really important. And that's ultimately what I want Scroll to be. I want Scroll to be the place where we all turn to and we go, hey, this is what I want to use as my identity when I sign into all of these different sites, because I know what they're doing with my data. There's no algorithms and there's no ads, and they're not trying to sell me anything. So you might ask, like, okay, so how are you making money? Well, the thing is, I'm not making money with this. I'm eventually going to put features that are upgradable on this, but everything that you see here is going to stay free for everyone for as long as I'm able to do it. So, these are the mini games. Every country in the world is one of the mini games. The other one is the Cure to Loneliness and Boredom, which you guys can play with from your profile. And then, of course, settings and how to use those, and the quick navigation guide. Okay, so that's what we have for Scroll. And once again, I just want to refresh this. The idea was that you would see this opening thing of a scroll and you would be like, oh, okay, it's a scroll. But a scroll is also a map. And you might notice that these are all map symbols, and there are going to be some things added to the map later on, which I'm pretty excited about. Happy to have kept that under 30 minutes, just barely. And now we're going to move on to some of the fun things that exist. Actually, let's just wrap that up at 30 minutes. The next video will be about the different projects that I'm building that you can log in with Scroll, and what I plan to do with those. I'm CD. Go to indignified.com, create your Scroll.com account, xcrol.com, and aloha.